This is John from CarCynic.com, and today we're going to review something else that is not a car. Fidget spinners are like all the rage, and we've kind of caught the bug for the whole fidget spinner fad here at CarCynic.com. We got several of them, and I have one very interesting and unique one here that I would like to review today. One thing that makes this so unique is it's not what you think it is. It is not the $200 to $300 Pepyakka Russian spinner. This is actually a clone, a Chinese clone of that spinner. But it's still a really good spinner, really unique, and a much better value than the original. There's one video out there that actually does not review the original Russian spinner very highly. This one's, again, not perfect, but I paid about $27 for this on eBay, and compared to $200 or $300, you got to lower your expectations very much. And this definitely meets or exceeds expectations for a $27 spinner. As you can see, it comes in a nice aluminum tin, and it is correctly cut out on the inside for a 3-blade spinner. Nice gift case. Wouldn't necessarily carry it in it because you're not going to put that in your pocket. But this is the spinner. Easy to tell that it's not the real thing. There's a little hole in the center of the spinner on both sides, and it doesn't have the letter KF in it like the authentic one does. Also, there's no serial number or anything like that printed on it. It's actually a pretty good spinner. Quiet, spins nicely. I might cut away here and do an actual timer test, but of course those are highly variable, so we'll probably leave the timer out of it. You can see that it spins fairly well. Taking it apart, it is different in construction than the... actually, it's pretty similar in construction to the original one. The thing is the bearing is very different. It's very nice, nicely machined with an actual O-ring here. You can take this out, take the bearing out, see if you can get a good shot there of the bearing. They do claim that it is a ceramic composite bearing. I didn't take a mic out and measure it, so I don't know the specs on the bearing. It's a bit loose, but it's kind of funny that it's a bit loose, but it actually feels better as it gets broken in a little bit, as most spinners do. You can see authentic threaded thing there. The other thing that's very interesting and unique about this spinner, and just like the quote real one, is if I can get one of these off, these are actual screws in here, and not sure I'm going to be able to do this before everybody gets bored and goes to a different video, but let me see if I can get this out here. These actually are holding the weights on. If you get one of these, that one thing that you might expect in a $300 spinner, a $200 to $300 spinner, is that it would be balanced. This one was not perfectly balanced when it came from the factory, but you can kind of just move the weights around. So these are the actual weights. I'm not sure whether these are brass or steel or whatever. This is actual aluminum. If you take all of the weights off, you end up with a very, very lightweight spinner. Be careful when you get these back on. A couple things, they only go a certain way. See if I can get them correct here. And also, before you play with the spinner, when you receive it, make sure that you've checked all these little screws. You wouldn't want these weights flying across the room if you get a good spin on it. Could be dangerous. So a dot of Loctite might not be a bad idea. The other thing you can do is use one of the actual tools with a couple little prongs on it to tighten these up really good. Pencil eraser might be another way to do this a little bit more efficiently than I'm doing it. But check all those, make sure they're good and tight before you play. I also had to tighten that O-ring. Okay, sorry, ran out of memory space on the camera card there. So we're back reviewing this spinner, which is a clone of the Pepyakka Russian spinner. One thing else about this is there was like versions 1 or version 2 or version 3 of those spinners. This just goes by some letters CKF, I believe, refers to Pepyakka, or the place that sells them. There are a couple letters after this one, but it doesn't have a version number. One other difference I'd like to point out between this and the clone, this and the real one, is it does not have the glow sticks in it, which is a good thing because there's no problems importing, from importing radiation or anything, because there's nothing like that in this one. There are tiny holes in there, and if you're a bit of a machinist, you could always, machine in some of the really tiny tritium sticks, but this one does not have that.